And what's the difference between astrology and numerology? Like, do you have any idea about that?
Yeah, astrology, astrology has different strands. Look, every civilization have their own way of probabilistic science. You have Western astrology here, and then you have Vedic astrology, and Greeks, they followed something else, and Chinese, they have their um, astrology system that they follow, right?
Mhm.
But um, Vedic astrology, it really, uh, it opens up. Um, it's purely based on mathematical calculations,
Wow.
and it is not. When I say probabilistic science, it is not. It's probabilistic science in the outcomes, but the calculations are highly mathematical. That was another reason that got me interested on uh, you have computers now, so you can plug in your birth date, and then you can get a snapshot of your birth chart and what the sky looked like when you were born. But in order to do this with hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, um, when you did not have access to any computers and stuff, in order to do it manually, hand calculations, it's pretty amazing, right? So if you were to ask, oh, where was Jupiter at what angle relative to Earth was Jupiter in this particular time frame, you'll have to go through a pretty rigorous calculations to do that.
Hmm.
And all those calculations are imbibed in the form of shlokas. A
Mm.
shloka is a verse, Sanskrit verse that describes a mathematical equation in a poetry form, right? It's so beautiful. Now the reason why it is in poetry form is you don't easily forget poems, right? You don't easily forget songs. When you learn something in a song format, you don't really forget what you're learning, right? So that's the reason why you have all these mathematical equations presented in the form of a Sanskrit verse, which we call shloka, and it's been passed over a number of years, which it's been translated now, and that's also another reason for a lot of corruption that has happened in this field, uh, because there are a lot of people who just wants to take shortcuts and just focus more on the outcome of the probabilistic science without realizing the fact that it's probabilistic science. It's not deterministic, and it depends on your interpretation of events, right?
Mm.
So you may be interpreting an event which may not be relevant to you or to your age group. So you need to have, in order to have a holistic understanding of it, it takes many many years of studies.
Wow. Amazing.